Dana's got away with the numbers. Underneath the lamp he sits and ponders every form and every line. He's here to help you make things fine. Tax time, it ain't so bad with Dana by your side. Don't feel sad, with funds and answers to set you free. Tax time with Dana, it's where you wanna be.
Yes, it is tax time. And I am your host, Dana. So welcome back for another wonderful year of anxiously waiting for everyone's tax refunds. For those that don't know, if you are new here, every year around this time, we all gather around and commiserate after we've filed our tax returns off to the IRS and anxiously await and see the trends and topics that follow in the whole tax cycle. So with that said, today's video, we're going to be focusing on a few things, and I prepared some slides for you all to go over. And what we're going to be taking a look at are changes to this year's tax law, look at some of the credits and deductions and how they've changed for the tax year of 2024. Yes, it is 2025 now, but you are filing for last year, 2024. There's also been some news simmering about possible IRS layoffs, so we're going to take a look at that and if it will affect tax refund times. We're going to talk about making sure you are 100% ready to file. You have everything you need, all your ducks in a row before you go off and you click that transmit button. We're going to do everything we can to prevent people getting held up, getting reviewed, getting holds. So we'll talk about that. And we're going to make some predictions about this tax season and then the next year's moving forward under the Trump administration. We'll talk about some of the winners and losers that I think will fall under a Trump tax code. So looking at the changes to this year, the standard tax deduction has slightly increased. Let me change myself here so you can see. Okay. The standard tax deduction has slightly increased to $14,600 if you're single, $21,900 for a head of household, and $29,200 if you are married filing jointly. Obviously, if you are a person that itemizes your deductions, you can't take the standard deduction, so that wouldn't affect you. For those that claim gas mileage, maybe you are a driver of some sort, like a gig worker, or you use your vehicle for business and claim that every year, and you claim gas mileage deduction. That was increased this year to 67 cents a mile. It feels like just yesterday it was like 47 cents a mile, so it's steadily gone up every year for the past like 10 years or so. Also, the child tax credit is up to $2,000 per child this year, and the earned income tax credit ranges, the amount that people can get will range anywhere from $632 to $7,830 if they qualify. Just a reminder that the PATH Act will lift on February 15th. Remember, if you are filing and you've claimed earned income tax credit or you've claimed additional child tax credit, you would fall under the PATH Act, which means they will not start processing your return until after February 15th. And then usually that Friday is when those returns start seeing their transcripts populate. They start waking up and seeing, where's my refund updates on that Saturday, or maybe a little sooner if they're not like what do we call a weekly, which if you have ever had any questions about how that system operates, you can always look through my tax resources videos and you'll see plenty of videos I've covered on how those systems operate. But the earliest transcript updates we'll see with a refund code would be on February 16th, the day following the 15th, and then move on from there. So in the news, there has been a lot of people commenting on possible IRS layoffs. So will this affect our tax refunds. So the IRS isn't promising anything. They're actually trying to increase employment at the IRS. They're really hoping they don't have to lay off anybody, but they're thinking they're going to get funding continuously cut under the Trump administration, so they don't see how they can constantly grow their employment pool. Regardless, this shouldn't affect tax refund timing, even if it happens, probably not this year. If it happened next year, it shouldn't affect tax refund timing because most of these people would be the customer service facing people. Most of the reductions would come from those people answering the phones. Those aren't the people that are processing your returns. So it is very unlikely that this would affect any refund timing issues. So we'll keep our eyes on that, and we'll post any news if anything new pops up with that subject. Let's talk about making sure all of your documents are in order before you file. Every year this happens. We get people that will, and I'm looking at you because you know you do it. You don't wait for that W-2 and you grab your last pay stub and you say, oh, I'm going to use this to file so I can get my refund early. And then you type in those numbers and you send off the thing to TurboTax. And the next thing you know, you're waiting 4 months and you still haven't gotten your refund because the IRS took a look at your return and said, hey, something doesn't match up here because the numbers on your pay stub don't match what the W-2 said. Or maybe you forgot you had a job for a month and you didn't file that and you didn't wait for that W-2. Or maybe you did Uber or Lyft and you made $4,000 doing that and you didn't claim that 1099. All those things can hold up your tax return. So you want to make sure you're waiting to get all of your documentation before you click the transmit button. Everything you can do and prepare yourself for to make sure you give yourself as least of a wait as possible. The more things you try to skip, the more flags you're going to send up to the IRS. So things you're going to want to look for and have ready. Make sure you have all of your W-2s from any employer you worked for. You had multiple jobs, you should have multiple W-2s. Make sure you are getting your 1099s from your self-employment, independent contract work, or your gig work. If you itemize deductions, make sure you have proof of those itemized deductions. If you have W-2Gs, so you had some gambling wins, make sure you have those. And if you're claiming losses, have the proof of the losses that you're claiming. If you use your vehicle for work, self-employment work, independent contract work, and you keep a mileage log, make sure you have that handy. Make sure you have it up to date and clear and easy to follow and everything's tracked. That is going to be, especially for people that do like gig work, the mileage log, it's going to be one of the biggest deductions you can get. So you want to make sure that you have that ready to go. Proof of health insurance forms, 1095A, 1095B. I believe it's the 1095. One of them you're not required to file and one of them is. Yeah, it's the 1095A that's required. So if you got a 1095B, then you're not going to be required to file that form, although you should still get one. If you received a 1095A, you have to include that with your tax return. The 1095A is if you purchased your insurance through a marketplace or through an employer. 1095B, you have government insurance, the government pays for it, you'll get a 1095B. Effectively, in the simplest terms, that's what those are. If you have investments or savings and you have you've hit the threshold of where you have to claim that on your taxes, those corporations, those banks would send you 1099 dividend forms or 1099 interest forms. You need to make sure you have those as well. I'd also like to make some predictions for the tax season moving forward and what we can expect under the Trump administration, because there are going to be some winners and there are going to be some losers. And losers. Okay. I don't want to get into a political talk, really. Really, what I want to talk about is what we can expect. And I base this off of things that we saw the first time around in the Trump administration, things that he has said himself, things that J.D. Vance has said, and the policies they would like to push in reference to taxes. Okay, this is not an overarching political debate. This is just speaking of what we can expect when we file our tax forms every year under a Trump administration. So this slide, I made a typo. I said this year will be very different from last year. This year will not be very different from last year, aside from some changes. This year is not going to be much different than it was last year. You're going to see very, very similar sized refunds. You're going to see very similar sized refund timing. Unless, of course, you were held up last year and reviewed for months on end. Hopefully this year that won't happen to you. But in regards to the general flow of things, the general taxing sizes and stuff like that, there's not much different other than those slight adjustments they made to some of the tax code. So let's talk about who the tax winners and tax losers are. Losers. The winners will be the small business owners, corporations, also parents and filers with dependents and children they claim on their taxes if they made under $100,000 a year. I predict that those people are going to be the winners going forward. Those people are going to benefit the most under a Trump tax plan. Now, wait a minute. I thought Trump didn't like people that make under $100K a year. You can't always believe everything that they throw at you. Trump definitely loves corporations. He loves business. He'll tell you, he'll be the first one to tell you. He also likes to prop up small businesses, so I expect him to give some good tax breaks to small business owners. And based on things that he and J.D. Vance have said, I expect them to be very kind and favorable for people and families that have children. Both Trump and Vance have said on the record that they are in favor of increasing the child tax credit. It is important to bear in mind that Trump has the House and he has the Senate. So if he wishes to raise the child tax credit, as he claims he wishes he can do it with zero interference. So we're going to see over the next 4 years if Trump will put his money where his mouth is. Is he going to support those families that have the children and raise that child tax credit? If so, those people are going to benefit. You may not benefit in other ways. For example, if you qualify for welfare, food stamps, he's probably going to make everyone get a job. That's just his viewpoint, and he'll cut benefits to those that don't and refuse. If they're able-bodied, he'll want them to get a job. We go through this every 4 years with Republican presidents. It's not just a Trump thing. This is a Republican thing. So if you are one of those people and you fall in one of those categories, be prepared for that. But for tax policy specifics, you will be a winner monetarily when it comes tax time, because you will get those child tax credits if he sticks to his word and raises the child tax credit. And maybe they'll do monthly payments like they did a few years ago. That would be nice. So who are the losers? Who are the losers? The losers will be the single filers, the people with no dependents, the people with W-2 jobs that are employees that either have or don't have dependents, but they fall into that income range of over $100,000 and under $600K. Really what we call the middle class now. I mean, it's funny to say that someone making $250,000 is the middle class, but with inflation and the way everything's gone lately, they're calling people that are in that range the middle class. So those people are going to have the highest tax rate. I mean, those people are going to be paying 20 to 30% in taxes. They're going to have the highest tax rate. They're going to have the lowest means to offset with deductions, especially if they're employees of a company. They're not going to have a lot of deductions they can itemize. Most of the people that itemize deduction are the people with investments, the people that run businesses. You don't typically see that with someone that's just got a W-2 job that's making X amount per year. They don't have the means to offset taxes with deductions. So those people are going to be the losers. And that's about it. I mean, I know this is kind of quick and it was kind of a rough estimate. I just wanted to cover some things I've been seeing. I've been getting a lot of comments in some of my older videos, people saying, when are we going to start up again? I wanted to get a video out there. I am sorry it's been a while since I've made a video. I've been working for the city government. I got elected to our school committee last year, and I've been very busy with my duties with that. But I am ready to kickstart this year. I may not make as many videos this tax season because I just have so many things going on. I have so many committees and subcommittees I attend, but I will be sure to make as many videos as possible to keep everybody informed of what's going on and all the latest news with the IRS. And please, if you haven't already done so, make sure you like and subscribe. Smash that button, to the notification button, because every time I upload or go on live, you'll get a notification about it. And you can join us. We have some great live streams when we do them. We answer questions in real time. Until then, if you do have questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer them either in the comments myself or in upcoming videos that I decide to make. I'm going to kind of see some of the questions that people have, and if I need to make some videos on those, I will. Until then, have a great day, everybody.
Dana's got away with the numbers. Underneath the lamp he sits and ponders every form and every line. He's here to help you make things fine. Confusing jargon, he breaks it down with a friendly smile, never a frown. He'll tell you about deductions and what you've earned. With Dana's help, you'll never be burned. Tax time, it ain't so bad with Dana by your side. Don't feel sad, with funds and answers to set you free. Tax time with Dana, it's where you wanna be. Questions stack up, forms in a mess. Dana's patience is endless, no stress. Every bracket and every clause, he'll guide you gently with no pause. Planning for next year, he's got a plan. With Dana's wisdom, you'll understand. Credits and claims all laid bare. Dana's expertise beyond compare. Tax time, it ain't so bad with Dana by your side. Don't feel sad, with funds and answers to set you free. Tax time with Dana, it's where you wanna be. With Dana by your side, don't feel sad. Oh, feel sad. Tax time, it ain't so bad with Dana by your side. Don't feel sad, with funds and answers to set you free. Tax time with Dana is where you wanna be. Questions stack up, forms in a mess. Dana's patience is endless, no stress. Every bracket and every clause, he'll guide you gently with no pause. Planning for next year, he's got a plan. With Dana's wisdom, you'll understand. Credits and claims all laid bare. Dana's expertise beyond compare. Tax time, it ain't so bad with Dana by your side. Don't feel sad, with funds and answers to set you free.